Hello, everybody. It's April 28th, 2026. I had an idea the other day of a series to do. And the idea for this series comes from work I did for 20 years. I transcribed a podcast that taught me about the world, the big picture of the world and how the world works. The problem with this podcast was that it didn't include the spiritual piece of the pie. And what happened in 2023 after I was baptized and I remembered my satanic ritual abuse and subsequently the MK Ultra torture programming and mind files that were done to me. Looking back on it, I realized that because I had this 20 years of study and information about how the world works and the big picture, and being able to see the world from the top down instead of before that, when I was living in what I call Disneyland, amnesiac and not understanding the world and being confused by it. I was looking at the world from the bottom up. And at the bottom, we are all compartmentalized in the same way a survivor's mind is compartmentalized, our parts are compartmentalized from each other. The world is also compartmentalized, particularly to those at the bottom levels. The higher up you go in the levels, the less compartmentalization there is. And at the very top levels are the people who create those compartments so that they can control the world. And so I learned that from this gentleman. And I'm not going to mention his name because I refute his work now. Through my healing, I discovered that he was secretly teaching Gnosticism throughout his talks, and that was something I had to untangle and deprogram. But I won't decry what I learned from him was how the secular world works. What SRA taught me was that there is a supernatural world. There's demons, there's angels, and there is an agenda for the devil to control this world. I first decided to look into and study symbolism because in my memories I would see symbols and I'm like, well, we all know what basic symbols are, but the deeper symbolism that the Illuminati use, not just the Illuminati, that the controllers of this world use and that are used in our rituals. That started opening up my mind. So when I had my memories, I could understand these things I was looking at. I did a series on them for this person's channel, and because of copyright, I cannot use them. So down the road, at some point in time, I'll remake this series of videos on symbology. But suffice to say, as my healing and memories progressed, I realized I needed to learn about the supernatural world and how it worked and read the Bible and understand the Bible. So I proceeded to start studying the biblical scholar, Michael Heiser. He helped me to truly understand the supernatural world, how it is biblical, how it is in the Bible, and how things connect together and affect the physical world, the real world, the secular world, the temporal here and now world, that the supernatural and here and now world overlap. It's just that most of us can't see it. But I remember in my abuse, the rituals, there was a supernatural element. And so putting all these things together, my memories are coming. I'm studying symbology. I'm learning about biblical truths, the supernatural, and where the true evil in this world begins, when it started, and its progression down through time, through different groups and organizations. The Knights Templars, the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, etc. because I understand all that, as my memories are coming back, I'm able to understand it within the context of the system that was created by the evil rulers of this world, and that those evil rulers of this world worship Satan and Lucifer. So, in knowing all of that, along with the secular worldly piece of the pie, corporations, government, politics, medicine, education, how it all ties together and it's controlled by, it literally is a pyramid controlled by a small group of people at the top, filtering it out and compartmentalizing everything and controlling what we know at the bottom. Also, along my journey healing, I watched a lot of different survivors, and I ran into Nathan Reynolds and watched a lot of his shows. Nathan Reynolds talked about some books that he found invaluable for his healing, and one of those was the book The Eaters of Children by Johnny Cirucci. And Nathan will also talk about Romans of Mass Destruction, The Illuminati Unmasked. Johnny has 5 books, and Nathan highly, highly, highly recommends these books. And so I finally got one, The Eaters of Children, and finally read it. After I read it, I was compelled to contact him and talk to him about certain subjects regarding SRA. And it popped into my head a couple of days ago only that I should do a series with Johnny explaining this structure of how the world works and how a small group of people at the top of this pyramid control the rest of the planet. And in their quest for total domination, and it's not just theirs, it's Satan's goal. It's Satan's, Satan slash Lucifer, his desire to control everything, to be like God. Except he can't be. So he has to work through people. In the same way that God works through people, so does Lucifer and the powers, the principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places, and the people within the secret societies. The knowledge that all of them are clamoring for and reaching for and wanting to have is the knowledge that was provided to them through the fallen angels millennia ago, handed down through time through secret societies and secret groups of people and governments in order to control the people. So I talked to Johnny yesterday. He's agreed to do a series with me. And we're going to show you the big picture, the system from the beginning to explain the supernatural and the fallen angels to Babel. And when God confused the languages, the people separated out into nations. But they took with them these gods, these fallen angels that were considered gods. And these gods, these fallen angels continued to provide them with hidden knowledge so that they could control their people. So that ultimately, as we move towards end times and the final judgment, Satan can deceive and fool the world. So that's what this series is going to be called, The Big Picture of the System of Control. Johnny and I will be interviewing him, and he's going to give you a breakdown of the secular and spiritual part of how that moves down through time with child sacrifice, rituals, control, its movement into the secular world, just down through time till today. And the reason I want to do that is so that those survivors that are out there having their memories and seeing these crazy things can understand how it fits into the overall overarching system, the control of the world and mankind for Satan. Because after all, we are survivors of satanic ritual abuse. Well, what is all these rituals about and for? It's not just to hurt people. It's not just to drink blood. It's about control, and not just of their immediate environment. Some at the lower levels might be, but there is an ultimate top to this pyramid that controls all the rest. And that's what I want to show, so that as you're having your memories, you can look at them from within that context, from the top down, rather than having your memories and being stuck in a compartmentalized place, just in the world in general, looking up and out and not understanding what's happening in the world. So what I'm going to do right now is show you Johnny Cirucci's website and tell you a little bit about him. I'm just going to read from his website. Giovanni Agostino Gianni Cirucci was born into a fourth generation immigrant Italian Roman Catholic family. His upbringing was typical, an average student and a decent athlete who was sent through multiple Catholic schools. Johnny's family was quote unquote conservative and patriotic, and this led him to choose the military for a career. He began with the Navy prep school and Marine Corps option ROTC in college, but decided to leave school without graduating in favor of enlisting in the Marine Corps. Johnny did not complete boot camp and received a failure to train discharge. He returned home to divorced parents. It was a very low point in his life. Johnny worked as a utility installer for a couple of years, and this experience encouraged him to return to school and finish his degree. He spent many months attempting to get a waiver for his separation and return to the Marine Corps, but to no avail. While at his second iteration of college, Johnny had a conversion experience and became a born-again Christian. It was shortly after this that Johnny achieved a waiver to return to the Marine Corps and did this at 27 years of age. He graduated from Paris Island with honors such as the Board of Governors Marine Corps Association Marksmanship Award. Johnny asked his chain of command to send him through officer training, as he also finally achieved his bachelor's degree and was denied due to his age. Johnny got out after 4 years, and shortly after that 9/11 took place. Being on inactive ready reserve, Johnny volunteered to come back, but was told the IRR wasn't being activated. He then enlisted in the Army and was sent through Army officer training at Fort Benning. Although Johnny excelled in leadership, he found himself unfulfilled in his service. A tour in Iraq confirmed it. It was apparent that the higher a soldier or Marine got in career progression, the more compromised they became. Johnny was disgusted with what he experienced in Iraq. The United States military presence was one of chaos and destruction. Nothing was beneficial. When Johnny got back, he continued to distinguish himself as a leader, now working as a liaison at division headquarters, but the writing was on the wall. He was doing a major's job, but being kept as a captain. Johnny continuously gravitated towards conservative media throughout his life, but became disenfranchised with it when well-known personalities pulled their punches on Barack Obama's mysterious rise to power, the corrupting influence of money in all fields, and the fraud behind the global war on terror. In 2011, his boss secretly confirmed for him what he already suspected: the quote-unquote covert raid that quote-unquote killed Osama bin Laden was propaganda disinformation made possible by the United States military in general and special operations in specific. Johnny knew it was time to get out. Jobs seemed to be plentiful, but Johnny just couldn't find his niche. Only one subject motivated him, obsessively so, getting to the truth. He had been writing and blogging since college, and some of his articles were picked up by alternative websites. Johnny began investigating the Illuminati and was surprised to find links pointing back towards the Vatican. An article he wrote on the subject was picked up by Before It's News and did well enough to motivate Johnny to finally write his first book, Illuminati Unmasked. He's been writing books, researching, and investigating ever since. Johnny has been interviewed many times since Illuminati Unmasked was published in 2015. Quite a few of these were serial appearances and some even serial collaborations. And you can see here all of the different interviews with Johnny Cirucci. I'll just scroll through them from View from the Bunker, Free Zone, Fakeologist, Truth Frequency Radio, Power Hour, Morning Show, Abel Danger, The Prophecy Brothers, Devil's Been Talking Radio, Deception Detection, the Richie Allen Show, First Amendment Radio. There's a lot here. The Sons of Liberty Radio Live, The Occult Rejects, Liberty Bells. So there's a lot going on here. Johnny has also interviewed a fascinating list of people. And I'll let y'all just slowly look through this list. And I'll admit here, I don't really recognize most of these. But, well, David Icke stands out, and this flatter Dave Weiss stands out as well, and Arthur Pawlowski. So these are some pretty good names to be interviewed by and having interviews with. These are Johnny's books, The Disciples of Ra, The Shocking Truth About Medicine, Viruses, and Vaccines, Romans of Mass Destruction, How the Vatican Created and Enabled Some of History's Most Monstrous Serial Killers, Eaters of Children, which is the book that I read, How Access to Power is Granted Through the Rape, Torture, and Ritualistic Slaughter of the Innocent, Secret History, The Erased Clues That Prove Who Rules the World from Behind the Curtain, and Illuminati Unmasked, from everything you need to know about the New World Order and how we will beat it. And if y'all are interested, you can come to Johnny's website. It's called johnnycirucci.com, and that's spelled JOHNNY, CIRUCCI.com. So, and y'all know about me, my history, and I thought you should know Johnny's history so you have a little idea of what's going on with him and his motivations, and that he is a Christian. So again, this series is going to be from the fall of Lucifer to today, so that y'all can understand what satanic rituals are for and how we fit into that pyramid and what they needed to do that to us for. So I will see you down the road with episode 1. That is going to be again discussing the supernatural, how we got to Babel, and how the nations separated, and there were gods placed over those nations, and that's a little g God, not the God, and what the fallen angels taught to mankind in order for mankind to destroy himself. And then again, we'll move down through time to today through all the secret societies. So thanks again. I'm really excited about doing this. I ask your forgiveness if I'm not a smooth and polished interviewer or host. All very new to me. So I'm really excited and looking forward to do this. I really think it's going to help a lot of survivors put context to what they went through. So love all you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.